I am 74 years old. My name is Henry. And the truth is, one New Year decision I made 36 years ago quietly shaped the rest of my life in ways I did not understand until it was already finished. I remember the night clearly. It was just after midnight. The house was quiet. My wife had gone to bed. The kids were still small then. I stood by the window with a drink in my hand, watching fireworks from faraway neighborhoods. I told myself something that felt responsible at the time. I said, "This year, I will work harder than ever. I will say yes to every opportunity. I will fix everything by pushing more." I believed that decision made me a good man. I did not know it would cost me the years I can never get back. I want you to listen to me slowly, not because I am wise, but because I lived it all the way to the end. Back then, I was 38. I was tired, but hopeful. Money was always tight. I felt behind, compared to other men my age. Some had bigger houses. Some had nicer cars. Some talked about vacations we could not afford. I carried that quiet shame with me into the new year. So when the clock turned, I made my resolution simple. I told myself I would stop resting. I would stop saying no. I would become dependable, available, always useful. It sounded noble. It sounded like sacrifice. People praised me for it. That should have been the first warning. The first year, it felt like progress. Extra hours, more responsibility. I missed a few dinners, but I told myself it was temporary. I missed bedtime a few nights. I said I would make it up later. I missed one school event because something urgent came up. I promised myself the next one would matter more. Then the second year came, and the third, and the fifth. Let me tell you something nobody warned me about. When you keep postponing your life, it does not wait politely. It keeps moving without you. I became known as the reliable one, the man who always answered the phone, the man who could stay late, the man who never complained. I wore that identity proudly. I did not see how narrow my life was becoming. Work took up space quietly, slowly, like water rising in a room you are used to standing in. My children grew while I was busy being dependable somewhere else. I saw them, of course. I was there in the mornings sometimes. On weekends, when I was not exhausted, I told myself presence was enough. I did not realize how much of love lives in attention. There is one moment that still sits in my chest. I can see it clearly. My daughter was maybe 10. She had a small role in a school play. Nothing important, she said. I told her I would try to come. I believed that when I said it. But something ran late. Something always did. When I got home, she was already asleep. There was a paper crown on the kitchen table. Her mother said she kept looking into the audience. That night, I stood in the hallway and watched her sleep. I told myself it was just one night. I did not know how many of those nights would stack up. I thought I was doing the right thing. That is the hardest part. I was not reckless. I was not selfish in the way people imagine. I was careful, responsible, focused, and completely wrong. Years passed like that. Promotions came. Stress came with them. My body started to change. My back hurt more. My sleep became shallow. I told myself I would slow down later. Later became my favorite word. My wife grew quieter over time. Not angry, just quieter. We stopped talking about small things. We talked logistics, bills, schedules, repairs. I thought that was adulthood. I thought that was marriage maturing. There was another moment. This one is harder to say out loud. It was a new year again. The kids were teenagers by then. I was tired from a long shift. We sat at the table. Someone asked what my resolution was. I laughed and said the same thing as always. Work harder. Provide more. My son did not laugh. He looked at his plate. I did not ask why. If you are doing this right now, listen carefully. Pay attention to what people stop saying to you. That silence means something. The years did not explode into disaster. That is not how it happens. They just thinned out. Conversations became shorter. Touch became rarer. I told myself this was the price of stability. I did not see that I was paying with the only currency that mattered. When I was 55, my father died. He was 79. I remember standing at his funeral, thinking about how quickly everything ends. I remember telling myself I needed to change. I went back to work 2 days later. I thought I was different. I wasn't. Another year, another new year, another promise to myself that I would slow down after this next push. I told myself I had momentum, that stopping now would waste everything I had built. I did not realize I was already wasting something much bigger. Let me pause here and ask you something, not as advice, just as a question. If you look at your life right now, who feels postponed? Do not answer out loud. Just notice what comes to mind. For me, it was everyone I loved. The realization did not come all at once. It came too late, in pieces. My daughter moved out. My son stopped calling as often. My wife and I shared a house but not a rhythm. One night, she said something simple. She said, "I feel like I live beside you, not with you." There was nothing I could say to that. I finally slowed down in my early 60s. My body forced it. My energy was gone. Work did not need me the way it once did. Younger men took over. I thought I would fill the space with family. But the space was already filled with habits, distance, lives that learned to move without me. I remember waking up one New Year morning alone in the living room. Everyone else was asleep or somewhere else. I looked around and realized I had kept my resolution perfectly for decades. I had done exactly what I promised. And I did not recognize the life it created. The regret is not loud. That surprises people. It is quiet. It shows up when the house is still, when you hear laughter in another room and you are not part of it. When you want to say something important and realize you have not practiced how. I am 74 now. Some days are peaceful. Some days are heavy. I do not hate my life. I just see it clearly. The hardest part is knowing that my decision came from fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of falling behind. Fear of stopping. I let that fear choose for me every year, disguised as discipline. If you are listening to me and you are young enough to think you have plenty of years, I understand. I thought that too. I am not here to scare you. I just want you to know how quietly years disappear when you keep saying not yet. I cannot go back. I cannot sit in that audience. I cannot have those conversations again. I can only tell the truth now. When people ask me what my biggest regret is, I do not talk about money. I talk about moments I skipped because I thought they would repeat. They do not. I am saying this slowly because it took me a lifetime to learn it. Life does not wait for your plans to be finished. If this story stirred something in you, sit with it. Ask yourself what you keep postponing. If you feel moved to, leave a comment about one thing you will not delay anymore. And if you know someone who is living the way I did, maybe share this with them. I wish someone had shared it with me. If you want to hear more reflections like this, you are welcome to subscribe. These are the things we only say clearly when time has almost run out.